Oh dear. Mm. Hi. Welcome to my first. I'm really nervous about doing this, but let's wait and see if. Hello, hello, hello. Hi. I'm just going to wait. It's 1:59, so I'm just going to give it at least another minute to see if anybody else signs on before I start. Some of you who know me know I have a mouth. My husband's always telling me, you have something to say, and people seem to like to hear it. Hi, D. Is it D? I see ID more, but what is that your handle or your name? Anyway, I'm just happy to have anybody come on board since we kind of did this at the last minute. I'm just waiting for maybe a couple more people to show up, if you don't mind being a little patient. But I'm a person who's always on time. And it is right at 2:00. And I told a friend of mine, I said, I don't care if I have one person. I don't care if I have two people. If I do a halfway decent job at any of this, then maybe next time I'll have 4 or 6 or maybe a few more. I'm actually waiting to see my own husband's name, who is downstairs. It has a memory like a gnat, but anyway, it's your handle. Oh, I was trying to figure that ID. Yeah, that's fine. I just was trying to figure out if your name was D and I don't know, you work as an optician or something. I tend to make things a little more complicated than I should, I guess. I thank you. That is very nice of you to say, how fabulous we are. Well, my husband is the one who said to me actually yesterday, I think you should do a live stream thing, because so many people I'm on his channel. For any of you who have ever watched Bill Still's channel, sometimes he lets me rant on something or talk about something, and people are very nice. I get a positive response. I get a lot of comments, a lot of people who say to him, we want to see more of your wife. And I said, they only say that because they don't see me but once every 3 months. So, but at any rate, he said, now, you have a voice and you have a perspective that a lot of people don't. And he thinks that, maybe I should try this. And so I said, okay, I'm just going to jump in with both feet and see what happens. I'm seeing the chat windows, and I have to admit to you that I have to I'm not wearing the right glasses for doing this, but Boomer, no name, cool. Yes, Rule. Oh yeah. That's a product that obviously we both believe in. We take it regularly, and it really has helped tremendously. But wow, it is January 9th. Welcome, all of you. I can't believe it is only the 9th of January and we've already had our president get us in war and out of war. I'm kidding. But the media, I mean, my goodness, he does anything and it's going to be World War III. He promised he didn't like war. And what is he doing? He's crazy. And, you just have to wonder what the heck is wrong with these people. I cannot wrap my head around. I can't wrap my head around the media and the Democrats who are actually taking the side of Soleimani. Oh, we're so sorry. I mean, if you're not on Twitter, I know a lot of people don't like Twitter. They think it's a cesspool. It can be. You just stay away from the dirty part. Honest to Pete, these people are tweeting out stuff. And I'm not talking about just random people. I mean, people like Michael Moore and, the idiots in Hollywood. They've been tweeting out stuff about assassinating the president for a long time. Remember Kathy Griffin and then you had, who was it, Johnny Depp, and then, of course, Michael Moore and all these people. Michael Moore wrote a letter to the Ayatollah of Iran saying, I am so sorry that our idiot president killed one of your leaders. And please, please, please don't kill any of us. Please, we are begging you. It's just insane. It is absolutely insane. And I mean, the comments that people are making about Soleimani as if, my God, the news media is doing specials on his life as if he's some sort of saint or something. He lived here and he was this general. He wasn't a general, by the way. That's just something the media made up. Doesn't matter whether he was or not. He was an evil murderer. He murdered his own people. He is responsible for the deaths of at least 600 Americans, 1,500 of the protesters in Iran protesting for freedom. He killed them in the most despicable way. I don't even want to tell you how he did it. And 7,000 of them are in prison. And the very people, the very Hollywood people who were saying, oh, he was such a great guy, da-da-da-da-da. Do you know what? Half of them are gay. He would have had them hung to death because they are gay. They don't even understand that. They don't even seem to be able to understand that this guy was evil and our president was right to take him out. And I know that everybody agrees with that. Anybody who has any sense. It kind of scares me to see these Democrats, members of Congress. I'm not talking about, run of the mill, members of Congress saying these evil things and talking about the general of Iran and we killed him. Are you freaking kidding? Yeah. Even the Obama administration named him as a terrorist. The UN named him as a terrorist, and he had a travel ban on him, put on him by the UN. Even the EU has come out and said this was a justified killing. Angela Merkel, who for all intents and purposes can't stand our president, came out and said this was justified. I don't have any doubt about it. It's no doubt to me, but it really, really bothers me that these people are, I knew they hated him. I knew they hated Trump. I had no idea how deep their hate was for him. No idea. These people are evil, evil, evil. And I was pondering this today, and I was trying to figure this out, and I said, what in the heck what is going on? And what popped into my pea brain was Barabbas. Barabbas. When Pilate gave them a chance to free either Barabbas, who was a thug, murderer person, or Jesus, who healed people and laid hands on the sick and rose people from dead and all of it. You all know Jesus. They chose Barabbas. And so I thought, holy cow, nothing has changed in people's hearts, and nothing has changed. We have cell phones, we have electricity, nothing has changed. Nothing is new under the sun. This is just mind-boggling to me. So, I should get my right glasses. My right glasses put a glare, funny glare. I have funny little light circles on them because I don't have anti-glare on them. So pardon me for looking at my ugly old face, but they hate Trump so much they have to play out. Exactly right. Exactly right. They cannot back away from this. And in fact, I want to read a scripture verse that I love because I feel like it pertains to this, if you don't mind. It's 1 Timothy 4:2. And it's such teachings that's come through these people, come through hypocritical liars whose consciences have been seared as with a hot iron. And that is what I think has happened to these idiots, the MSN. The mainstream media, of course, is on the bandwagon for hating Trump. Would they always have? Well, that's not true. They loved him when he was a billionaire and he was a businessman and he was good ratings for them. And they loved him when they were in Congress or whatever, and they needed money because they asked him for donations, which he gave to a lot of different, he was a business person. He gave to whoever could help him. But yes, so MSNBC, so Iran, who knows? We can't trust them. We have no idea what they're doing. We have no idea why they did what they did. But it's clear now that they warned us that they were going to do these rockets. We're going to hit here and here and here. So don't be standing here and get your airplanes out of here. And that's exactly what happened. Why? Who knows? I can think of a million reasons, but I don't really know what their game is. But they have, of course, been telling their people. Now, this is kind of interesting to me. They've been telling their people, we killed, I've heard 80, I've heard 30. We killed a number of Americans in that, with those rockets. We killed 30 of them, 80 of them, however many they say they killed. And of course, they didn't kill any. And of course, so MSNBC, instead of trusting what the White House is putting out, they are repeating what the Iran news media is putting out. What the hell? I mean, the Iran news people put out whatever they're told to put out. They don't have any freedom of speech. And what is kind of, I shouldn't make light of this, but what is interesting of that is the Iranian people were dancing in the streets, celebrating this, saying, "Yay, go Trump! Yay, yay, yay! We love President Trump. He killed this evil man who has wreaked havoc on their lives and killed many of them and imprisoned many others in horrific, evil murders." And so I had this picture in my head of them dancing in the streets, celebrating the death, and their Iranian government tells them that they killed 30 or 80 or whatever the number was, Americans. And I could just see the Iranians going, "Oh dear, we didn't mean for that to happen. Oh no, this is bad. We love America. They killed this guy." This is a crazy world in which we live. It's just gotten crazier and crazier. And I keep telling these, as if they listen to me, you're going to reap what you sow. We all do. Nancy Pelosi is going to, and I believe she is. Have you seen her speak? She can't get a word in for love or money. She can't get a sentence out. She can't speak correctly. And she was called by Vice President Pence, and she told her assistant, "Tell him I'll call him back." And the next message she received was, missiles have been shot at Iraq, from Iran. They're firing missiles. And she was in a fundraising dinner where they were enjoying, as they put it, adult beverages. So she tweets this thing out: "I am keeping my eye on the situation with the missiles." Yeah, right. And your gin and tonic. What kind of, she's crazy. She is crazy. She is, and this whole impeachment thing is absolutely, I don't really understand what her game is. I don't know, but I have noticed something in the media. The media has started saying the impeached President Trump, They used to just call him Trump, or they called him Donald Trump. They never gave him his title of president. Never, ever. I listened to it a lot. No, they never did. They call him Trump all the time. But now they want to call him the impeached president of Trump. It's just because they hate him. They hate him because he ruined their game. He took away their ball. We knew it was going to be bad. We knew that they were going to fight. We knew the swamp creatures were going to fight. I don't think any of us had any idea it was going to be this bad. I've never prayed so hard my whole life. Well, take that back. During the 8 years of Obama, I spent a lot of time on my knees because I was genuinely afraid of what would happen to this country under his presidency. And but I pray daily, hourly for our president, for our country. And I do think that one of the things that really pissed me off was all of the people who came out to vote for Donald Trump and put him in office. All of these people, we came out, the monster vote. My husband called it the monster vote. And by the way, Bill Still predicted the Electoral College count, got it on the nose, exactly right. I was one off, but he got it exactly on the nose. And I'd have to look it up. And, it was 304 and he said 304 and I said 303 or whatever the number was. He was exactly on and I was one off. We knew he was going to win, but, I just pulled the number out of the air. He did actual, Bill, he did actual research. But they came out and they voted for our president. We put our president in office, best president of my lifetime. And by the way, I'm 61. Absolute best president, even better than Reagan, whom I adored. In so many ways, he's better than Reagan. But one of the compliments that Ollie North gave President Trump after he gave that speech telling us what he did, which was absolutely 100% right. And our president, by the way, he always has a plan. He always has a plan. He knows what he's doing. He knows more than anybody. He's the smartest person I think we've ever had as president. People don't give him credit for that. They don't give him credit for anything, so don't expect that. Pay attention to fake news. Watch out for fake news. A lot of Trump supporters get sucked into all of this stuff that they're hearing or seeing on MSNBC or whatever it is. Don't pay any attention to that. Don't pay any attention to that. It's all fake, most of it. And, but at any rate, so people, sorry, I'm getting distracted. The Still report is on. Yay. People voted for our president, put him in office, and then in 2018, in the midterms, millions of those people who put him in office did not even turn out to vote. Folks, we can't do that to our president. We left him without any support. He needed the support. However, I will say this. What you meant for evil, God meant for good. And I'm not saying people meant it for evil, but there is an enemy out there. Had it not been for the fact that we had this Democrat in the House, controlling the House majority, the evil of who they are would not have been exposed. And I am telling you right now, take heart if you're discouraged, because every time the Democrats open their mouth, they lose another one of their people. They are losing people left and right. We've got Blexit going on. We've got Jexit going on. We've got all kinds of exits out of the Democrat Party, and I see them online all the time. I used to be a Democrat. I voted for Hillary. I will never vote for it. These Democrats are crazy. They have lost their minds. This impeachment thing is just insane. Even Dianne Feinstein is telling Nancy Pelosi, send over the articles. Dianne Feinstein, yay. But really, if she's telling that to Nancy, she's upset about, and why? Because she knows it's going to be acquitted. She knows that the Republicans have the vote to acquit him, to dismiss it, whatever they want to do. She knows that. Dianne knows that. But so she is under pressure to get this thing. It's because it's looking bad. It's looking bad for the Democrats. The longer it goes on, some people would say, well, let it continue. No, I don't want it to continue. I just want it to be over. But I'm sorry. I apologize for this. I have to kind of lean. Okay. Trump will go down as the greatest president of the last 100 years, if not all time. No president has ever faced this kind. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. You have to, people who don't believe in God or whatever, you can't see, how did he get elected? He had to beat 17 or 16 Republicans who were well-established politicians. He had to beat the Bush people. He had to beat all of these people in his own party and come against the establishment rhinos and come against the Democrats and go against the mainstream media that was against him and still win. Because we, the people, finally woke up and stood up and said, yes, this is our man. This is who we want. But also because God Almighty has had mercy on this country and decided it was not time for us to go down. And pardon me for getting a little emotional. But God has his hand on this president. He couldn't do what he has done in the flesh. He has to have, and people who do not, they say, oh, he curses, he does. Oh, come on. Give me a break. That man, by the way, before he was thinking about running in 2012, and before he ran in 2012, he called some pastor people he knew. He called 50 of them to come to his place in New York. And this is what he asked them. He asked them to pray and seek God to see if God wanted him to run for president. And that was when Mitt Romney ran, and he had decided it wasn't time yet for him, but he was thinking about it then. But his question was, and they were all praying for him. And he actually said to one of them, I have this written down in one of the books I've read. He said, I don't want you just to pray for me. I want you to tell me if you hear from the Holy Spirit what I am supposed to do. That man's heart is for God. He may be rough and he may be gruff. I don't really care. He is the person God has chosen to be in that office. He is the person God has chosen to save us from socialism. I know you all do, preaching to the choir. What would have happened to this country if that witch had won? Where we would be and what they would have done to him? You know, they would have made the collusion, delusion, crime stick, and he would be in prison for the rest of his life. And we would know. It would be horrible. But at any rate, God's hand is on him. God's hand is on us. But we also have to stand up and do our part. I tell people this all the time. Call your members of Congress, call your senators, call your House reps. And I sometimes I send them emails. I during the Kavanaugh campaign, I sent 100 senators an email. If we had 100, we might have had 98, but 100 of them, I sent them all an email. You can send them email. And I said, vote for Kavanaugh now. Of course, the Democrats weren't going to do that, but they need to know. They need to know we have a voice. They need to know we're out there, and they need to hear from us. And they do keep a tally of it. I tell people that they keep a tally of it. They write down how many people called and who said what. I email them all the time. I call them a lot, and I email the president regularly. The whitehouse.gov, you can send an email to the president, and I just send him encouragement. Sometimes I just email our members of Congress, and I just say one thing: support the president in whatever he's doing. Back him up. And God bless the Freedom Caucus and those guys. They were rock stars during this whole impeachment debacle. I mean, the Democrats were insane with the private whatever they were doing and behind closed doors. And they still haven't released the testimony of Mike Atkinson, the IG, and now Devin Nunes is suing for the information on the IG testimony because they won't release it. It's the only testimony they won't release. Oh, gee, I wonder why. I wonder why they won't release it. Apologize for leaning forward because I know live stream is rough. Rudy says the Supreme should step in on the Trump impeachment. Rudy would know, of course, and I think the Supreme should, but I have heard some rattlings from some of them that they're not happy with it, but they're not really coming out and saying they're not coming out with a strong statement. I think they should. I think they should step all over. Here's the thing. My argument with this whole thing, of course it's a debacle. Of course there's no crime, all of that stuff. A lot of people say they want Trump to have his trial. All of this investigation is going to happen regardless. Look at what's coming out of the Ukraine. Look at what's going on with Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden owes $113,000 in taxes for what he received from Burisma for, drum roll please, 1 year. Yeah, now $113,000 is a lot for anybody to make in 1 year. He owes that much taxes for 1 year of income. So all of this stuff is coming out. The Ukraine stuff is going to come out. I think that the Senate should dismiss this case out of hand because they cannot legitimize this impeachment process. They just can't, because otherwise, any president can be impeached for, I don't know, wearing the wrong tie to an occasion or something, which I'm sure Donald Trump has done and I'm sure Melania Trump has worn the wrong outfit for something, except that coat that I love that she wore that said, I don't really care, directed to the press. And of course they made a big deal. And how many scoops of ice cream? Did you know CNN actually did a story on the fact that the president was eating ice cream during the killing of Salami, however you say his name. I really don't care how you say his name. It's when Condoleezza Rice was Secretary of State, she was talking about and somebody asked her, how do you pronounce his name? And she said, I don't care. So I don't care how he wants us to pronounce it. It doesn't matter to me. But uh, Corn Pop's a bad dude. Oh my gosh. Hunter Biden is Corn Pop. That's my feeling. I think he was his own son was the one running around with bad dudes, taking a Hertz rental car to a rehab center and leaving a crack pipe in the Hertz rental car. I mean, the guy is bad news. But yeah, well, yeah. There are arguments on both sides of staying in Iraq and not staying in Iraq. I don't pretend to be a military expert in any way, shape, or form, but I do think that we probably need to maintain some presence there. Oh no, eating ice cream. I know, really, they did a story on it because after the 2 scoops, it was just insane. But these people have gone insane. Michael Moore sent a letter to Iran apologizing and all the statements that were made by these Hollywood people and all these idiots. But it is. I feel like all of this is going to come to a head. We're going to come to a tipping point. We're going to see things are going to change. And people keep saying, well, when are we going to see indictments? I don't know. I don't have a clue on when those are going to come down. I just am pretty sure that they are. They have to. The illegality of the people in the in all of this Spygate and all of this other stuff. Now they're looking into the Republicans are investigating the IG and his involvement with the whistleblower, who wasn't really a whistleblower. He was a rumor blower. So it's just insane. But one of the things I do know this, and I have absolutely no doubt about this, and that is that God called this man to be our president for such a time as this. God's hand is upon him. God is guiding him. God is going to get us through this. And God is using all these the impeachment and all this other stuff to expose the evil, to expose all this evil stuff. God is not mocked. He is not mocked. They will reap what they sow. They will reap it. We just don't know when, and we don't know how the reaping is coming. But I guarantee you, my God is not mocked. Your God is not mocked. And this will happen. It is going to happen. Donald Trump will be reelected, and we will have 4 more years of him, and we will take back the House, and we will gain seats in the Senate. But we also need to do our part. We need to get out there and vote, and we need to, if you're not on social media, I know people hate social media, jump on social media and support our president. Every tweet he puts out, he gets 1 million people who say, I hate you, F you, wish you were assassinated. I mean, it's hard to see, but he needs our support on social media. He needs our support in the voting booths, and he needs our support in just airing and in speaking out and in saying these things and encouraging those members of Congress. I sent the Freedom Caucus members a letter, an actual in the mail letter, and said, thank you for working, because those guys work their tails off on this impeachment and defending our president and defending the Constitution. And I have never been more proud of the Republicans than when 100% of them voted no on those stupid articles of impeachment. They stood together. Now, if the Senate would stand together, we would be okay. But and thank God for that we have the Senate, because that's how we managed to get. Do you know he has had 182 judges? I think that's the number appointed, to different courts. He has turned over the Ninth Circuit. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Just wonderful things this president is doing. And people keep saying, Trump supporters, well, he hasn't built the wall. He's had more opposition to that wall than he has to just about anything else. And this president has done every single thing within his power to build this wall and get the money. And he was, in fact, just awarded, the court just released $3-point-some billion so that he could continue. Everything he has to do is a fight battle. It's a battle in the courts. That's why it's important that we're getting judges in there. I mean, and he is doing this. President has kept every promise he made, and as far as he has said, and even more than he made, and that's true. And his speech yesterday, if you haven't heard it, you can find it on YouTube, I'm sure. Go back and look it up. It was really a great speech, and he is spot on. And I guarantee you, he knows what's going on. He knows exactly what is going on. The Iranians or who knows what they're doing or why they're doing it. I don't. We can't trust them, of course. But and it just came out that they shot down that plane. Oh, gee, what a shock! It is believed that it was an accident. I'm not sure whether it was or it wasn't. Who knows what they're up to? But I do feel bad for the 176 people who lost their lives, 82, I think, of which were Canadians and 62 of which were Iranians. So I can't do math. I don't know if those numbers are right, but it was a large portion of them were Canadian. There were no Americans on that plane. So I don't have a clue why they would have. Who knows who? There were some Ukrainians on the plane too, and there could have been. Who knows? We may never know. Hello, Sue Randall. I love you too. I love. My husband has a channel, and the people on his channel are the nicest people ever in the entire world, and we just love you, all of you. Rhinos in the Senate scare me. They scare me too. But yeah, absolutely. We must trust that God must finish his work in exposing this evil. We really do need. I pray for the president every day. Absolutely do. Unlike Nancy Pelosi, who says she does, and I'm sorry, but I'm finding that really hard to believe. It's not sure what earthquake. Yeah, there was an earthquake in Iran the day of the attacks. It was a 4.6, and then there was an aftershock that was also 4 point something. I saw that too, but I don't know. It seems to me that area, I would have to look that up. Maybe Bill knows I think that area gets a lot of earthquake activity, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that is interesting. I mean, we have all this stuff going on. You didn't know how many rhinos there were. Well, you should have known. We all should have known. Paul Ryan, was the biggest rhino of all. And one of the things that we were frustrated with the Republicans, if any of you remember when Obama was president, was I was always screaming at the Republicans, to unify, to do this and to do that. They just kowtowed to him and just did whatever the Democrats, they rolled over for the Democrats, what is going on in the Democrat? I mean, I've never been a Democrat. I've never believed in the Democrat Party, but they used to be reasonable, I thought. Maybe they were always crazy. We just didn't know it. But can you imagine voting for any one of these candidates? I mean, good golly, these people are nuts. So Elizabeth Warren can't tell the truth if she tripped over it. Bernie Sanders is just insane. At crazy old man. Joe Biden doesn't even know what state he's in or what his name is half the time. I mean, I can't, none of them. And Buttigieg is out there saying that God is for abortion. It's insanity of what these people are saying. It's just crazy. And then what scares me is those who seem to be a little more reasonable are falling off. The crazy ones keep getting pushed up in the polls. But it's like Bill always says, you can't trust the polls either. They're weighted. They poll way more Democrats than Republicans. They don't poll the right number of independents. But so we don't know. They say the president has an approval rating of whatever they say. I would add 10 points to it. It's probably even higher than that. I think he has a much higher approval rating than they're ever going to show you until right before he's elected, right before the vote, November 3rd. November 2nd, suddenly he's going to rise in the polls. They're just idiots, the media. They didn't get it. They don't get anything right. And so why anybody still believes in them, I don't know. The Russia collusion, Rachel Maddow, by the way, is being sued for her lies about the Russia collusion delusion, which is something they made up. They made up the whole Russia collusion thing. And then they are the ones who colluded with the Russians. And then, of course, they blamed him for what they were doing. But they're the ones who made up the whole story in the first place. The Democrat Party just decided that that's what they were going to blame Donald Trump. They were going to say he was in cahoots with the Russians. Yeah. that doesn't make any sense, but they sold it and they got all of that stuff done. Um, uh, yeah, she was, and I can't remember who sued her, but there are a couple of entities out there: Judicial Watch. What is the other one? There's Judicial Watch, and then there's another one. But they're always suing for the records of this and the records of that, and they sue people for different things. They filed an ethics complaint against Adam Schiff. Holy cow! What kind of evil person is he? I mean, seriously, that man, and Nadler, the two of them. I mean, that parody that he did, I could not believe he did that. And then he got upset that people were upset with him. And he said, well, some of it was a parody, but that's what he said. It's insane. Well, thank goodness that the president released the transcripts of the phone call. That whole thing was just insane. But I could go on and on and on, but it's been 30 minutes, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Still Report will weigh in 1,200 earthquakes all around the area of Puerto Rico in the last week. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And Trump is said to be scared of, oh my gosh, scared of Biden. Hey, I have a dog that could beat Biden in an election. Two of them. There is no longer a Democrat Party. One of the things, Sue, one of the things that I believe is that after this 2020 election, the Democrat Party is going to be decimated. It's going to be gone. You're going to hear some vile voices, but I think they're just going to go. It's going to go away. I'm not sure what's going to replace it, but the Democrat Party is toast. They're done. They're done. I don't think Schiff is human. He doesn't look human. I'm not really sure. Exactly. Since when do you get to do a parody in Congress? When you're a Democrat. That's when. Since when do you get away with all this illegal activity? When your name is Clinton or Comey, or if you have a D beside your name, you get rid of anything. And by the way, Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. And I don't care what they say about the videotapes. They could have been altered. That's no proof to me. But yeah. So at any rate, I greatly appreciate all of you all coming on. It means so much to me that you would come on to hear what I have to say. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate my dear husband. God bless our president. God bless the United States of America. And we will stay tuned, because I'm not sure when I'm going to do this again, but we will do it again at least weekly. If y'all would like, let me know if you enjoyed this, if this was worth your time. I thank you for tuning in, and I'm going to say bye. And that's not all I'm going to say about that. Thank you. Can't get my mouse.